Yeah, good morning, everyone. Um, okay, so last day we have been checked out how to call API, how to call a API by using jQuery. We made some Ajax calls in the background, and we are able to access the data and create a single page application, SPA, right? So that's what we have just been checked out in the previous class. And in this process, I have shown you how to call them from the same project, and also I shown you how to call from a different project also. Same project also, different project also. Both the two things I just shown you. How to call by from the same project, how to call from another project. Okay. So guys, in this process, if at all you want to call from another project, we discussed about a concept called as a course. What is the full form? Cross origin resource sharing. Cross origin resource sharing. By default, the course policy is off. By default, the course policy is off, and you're required to on it, and you're required to specify 3 parameters to it. What are they? The domains, to which domains you want to give the access, to which headers you want to give the access, and which methods you want to give the access. You can enable them for each controller, or you can enable for all controls. Global. At a time, you can enable for all the controllers in the project. Both the two things we just checked out. Yeah. The next thing is today, what we are going to do is we are learning about calling a API, guys. We are going to learn about calling an API, but calling from C#, not any Ajax or jQuery. I want to call it directly from where? From C#. Are you getting my point? I want to call it from the C# basically. Okay, fine. Have a look, man. To demonstrate this process, first, I'm going to create a new table. The table name is students. Simple, 3 columns, that's all. Four columns: ID, name, photo, and status. Just a simple table. Okay, you add more columns if you want. Let me create this table. SQL Management Studio. Yeah, guys. So creating a table, ID is my primary key column, name, photo is my image, status is bit. Directly I'm storing binary data. Okay, directly I'm storing the binary data. Status, nothing to speak about it. Fine. So let's create the table. Okay, the table is created. What next? The next thing what I just wanted to do is, the table is ready now. Okay, the table is ready. The second step is, let us, we created one web API now with 2 classes there. One is a test and one is customer. Can you create a new API controller for performing CRUD operations on the student now? I want to create a new API controller, not MVC controller, API controller. So I'm not creating a new project, guys. Already we have a project where we have 2 API controllers. In that project only, now let us add a one more API. Anyhow, we enable the CORS policy global. Because the CORS policy is global, all controllers are accessible now. Okay. So let us open our run as administrator because it's running in IS now. Web API service. Have a look. We have 3 controllers in the code. 2 are API controllers and 1 is a. Actually, we don't add MVC controllers here. Just to give you an idea, I shown you about a course and all to explain you are within the project, no restriction, out of the project, course restriction. To tell you about that only I shown you. But generally in API projects, we don't create any MVC controllers. API projects will contain only API controllers only. Just to give you an idea, I shown you a sample MVC controller here, but the correct process is from other projects only. When you go for other project, course will come into picture. So first, if you want to understand it within the project, no restriction, you need to understand it first. That is why I shown you that, that's all. But this is useless. Basically, all only API controllers only here. So let us add a new API controller. Right click, add a controller. Yeah, what to select? Web API controller, add. For student, na? Student controller, student or students, what name I given? Student controller. Student controller. Let's create. Now you want a students table now. You want the students table means you require a entity framework. Or already entity framework is used in the project. So open that entity framework file. What is that? Test.edmx. Test. And look, guys, the test.edmx has 2 tables already. What are the 2 tables? Oh, only 1 table. I'm sorry. Only 1 table, customer table. Now we want the new table we created, right? I already explained to you. If you want to add a new table, what to do? Right click. Not add. Update. Go for update. Update model from database. Go to tables. Which table? Students is the table what we created. Student is our old table here. I created a simple new table, students. Click on the finish. Are you guys clear? We just got this. We just got the appropriate table. Okay. What next, guys? Write all the action methods now. Write all the action methods. Just building the project, that's all. Now come to here and write all the not action methods. Write all the methods. What methods? Get method, post method, put method, delete method. You know the code for them. I don't require to give you any explanation for them. One is display students. Display student. Add, update, delete. But what is the better name? The better name is get, post, put, delete. Or you can also give your own names. You can also give your own names. Okay, first import the model namespace. Dot models. Create the context class instance. MVC DB entities. DC is equals to new MVC DB entities. Okay, now start writing your methods. My first method is get all the students. DC dot students where through dot to list. For single student, find method. For single student, what we do is find method. Get. Passing the ID. Find method. Getting the student. Next method, post. We written all this code last class with customer. Today we are writing with student. Watch it. Student dot status, true. Next, add student, save changes. Return, created. Created means 201. Otherwise, internal server error. Last class also written the same code. Check it out if you want. For customer we written. Now it is with student. What next? Update. Again, same. First, we call find. And if it is null, not found. We did not find the record. No, not null. Then assigning the values, setting the entry state, save changes. Okay. I said you one thing, remember, for there is a status 201 called created, inserted matches there. For updated and deleted, there is no particular status code. That's why what we are writing is okay. 200 success status code will come there. That's all. Otherwise, internal server. And lastly, update. Delete. Delete and update are same. Correct or not? What is the difference here? Here we update only status. For update, we will update all columns. But here we will update only status. Same story. Not there, not found. Updating only status. But here, except status, we have, here status also. We update everything. But here we update only with what value? False. Remaining all code will be same only. So don't forget, delete and update code is always same. Okay. So all the methods are ready now. And guys, you know how to call these particular methods by using jQuery. Correct? What is the URL? Tell me completely. Don't raise half of. HTTP localhost / API / student. Okay, if the get means it will get you all the records. /ID will get you single record. Same way we can change to post, put, delete all, and we can get it. Are you clearer or not? So right now there is no data in the tables, guys. There is no data in the tables. But tomorrow, how these things work out for us is, I shown you, see, airlines company has provided all the APIs. So what we do, first we will run them in the Postman. What we'll do is, first we will run all those things in the Postman. We'll run them in the Postman. We get some result. What result is coming? Right, today we are getting a student result. The result back is student. Yes or not? You want to call from an MVC application now. You want to call from a MVC application. See how the process will happen. First thing is, I'm an MVC application developer. I'm not developing the API. Someone developed the API. I'm only a MVC application developer. And what is my requirement? My requirement is I require to use that API and build a UI now for inserting, updating, deleting, and doing all the stuff. Are you clear? This is how we work every day in our company. This is how we every day work in our company. We have an SAP team. The SAP team will provide all the APIs for us. The SAP team provides all the API. And what is our team? Ours is a web team. Our web team is responsible in calling the APIs and create the required views to the user now. Okay. So what will they do? Give the URL. We test the URL in the Postman. When you run the URL in the Postman, we will see the output now. We'll see the output. What output? Right now, we don't have any records in the table. If there is any record in the table, we'll see all the output on the screen now. Just for example, we'll do one thing, guys. Student table. Select star from In this, we don't have binary data. Na? Where we stored binary data? Did we store in a table? One day we stored customer? No. Which one? School DB. Oh, that is not there. We deleted. In the school DB, we stored it. Na? Just a minute. Okay, we have in another table, guys. We have that in another place. Just I'll delete it just for a sample. I want to insert one record there. That's all. Just for sample, I want to insert one record. Okay, insert into what's the table? Students table. What I want to insert is the ID. Okay. Okay. ID, name, photo. Status is having default value, na? Select SID, name, and photo binary from. I have in one table, I'm dumping it to my table. That's it. I have the data in another table here. I'm dumping into my table. Okay, what's the table? Just some sample data presents here. There. Status is true, automatically all. I'll delete the records here. I'll delete of all the records, just giving an idea. So now what will we do? The URL is given to us and we'll test the URL in the Postman now. We'll test the URL in the Postman. So we'll open Postman and we'll test the URL. Okay. So now, till now, we're an API developer. Till now, we are an API developer. Okay. Forget, guys. Now you're an MVC developer. You're an MVC developer. How to build the application. Okay. Concentrate on this. Opening a new project. Yesterday we created Web API Consumer 1. Huh? Today let us create Web API Consumer 2. Web API Consumer 2. What are we creating is a MVC project. We are directly going with a MVC project. Create. What you learned in your SQL server. Copying from one database to another database. That is the database name. How did I insert is none of your business. You insert your own data. Okay, this is an MVC application now. And here I want to create a controller. What controller? MVC controller. We'll name this as student controller. Student controller. Okay, now, and I want to write all the methods now. What methods? Public, view result, display students, return view. I will complete the coding here. Just you remember all the methods now? Second method, display student int ID. Third, public view result, add student. What is the parameter? Student. Yes or not? Okay, add student. Then, oh, sorry. No need. Why? The get method doesn't require HTTP get. HTTP get doesn't require this return view. Next, write post. HTTP post. Public redirect to route result. Add student. First parameter student. Second parameter HTTP posted file base selected file. We will fill all the code, man. Hold on. Return view. What next? Return redirect to action display students. Okay. Next what? Update, right? First method edit student. Edit. What do you pass? ID. Next one update student. Same parameters again. Okay, na? Same parameter, update student. We're just going to pass the appropriate thing, student. What next? Delete. For delete, we write only one method. What is that? Delete student. Okay, what to pass? Int ID. Just concentrate on this. Till now, when we build an MVC application, we need to get the data. To get the data, we are using link and configuring the model classes or NT framework or ADO.NET. I shown you all these options. But what is our requirement here? We are not going to write any database coding here. Why? We don't have access to database here. That's what I said to you. What is it? We don't have any access to database. I cannot use link now. I cannot use NT framework here. I cannot use ADO.NET here. Nothing I can use now. Why? When I don't have access to database, what will you do with all those things now? You don't have access. Then how will I get? You should call API. You should call the API. Are you getting my point or not? What you should call? API. So API should be called. Okay, we'll call the API. But to call that API, first point to remember, for designing and creating of the models, do you need a model class or not? If I use link to SQL, when I drag and drop the table, model class is created. In NT framework, model classes are created. In ADO.NET, we created model classes manually on your own. But now, where is the model class, sir? See, the student is giving error. Why? What did you done? You opened the project, you added a controller. Where did you define the model class? You did not define now. Are you getting me? Now tell me, this model class should be defined by me manually, or is it going to be automatically created? Come on. How? You don't use NT framework, you don't use link queue and automatically created. Yeah. Body present, mind absent. What I'm telling you, no NT framework, no link. Then how automatically created then? Did you catch my point or not? You're not using NT framework here. You're not using link to SQL here. If you use those two, you select the table, automatically model class is created. But now you're not using anything at all. So this model class is not created for you now. You are responsible to create all the model classes. Okay, sir, I am responsible to create the model classes, but how do I know what output will come? If I'm working with the database, I know the table. I'll select the table. I'll see the columns. But here I'm not working with the database. I'm working with a API. What output will come now? How do I know? I'll define a class. Fine. In this class, what attributes should be there? Did you catch my point or not? This is the big question now. What attributes is it going to generate now? What should be the model class? How the model class should be present? Are you getting my point or not? So that's why, see, on the day, Saturday, when I explained, you started this concept to you, I shown you, there are so many airline agencies, I shown you some APIs. The API is clearly telling you what is the response. It'll tell you what is the response. What will you get the response? What is the data type? All those things are listed there now. Based on that, you're required to define your own model class now. Based on that, you're required to define your own model class. Or otherwise, second way you can do is, second option is, see, what did I say? Tomorrow, the companies will provide me the API URL, that's all. See, our SAP team will tell us the URL. End of the day, I need to call something. What will they say? They'll tell me the URL of the service, that's all. What I'll do, I'll open Postman first. I'll open the Postman and I'll call the API first. I'll call the API. So to start this process, first I should call the API and see what result is going to come now. Okay, let's call the API, guys. Tell me the URL. HTTP localhost web API service API student. Okay, I want one student record here. Student once. Okay, student. I'll get all the students data. In the table, we have nearly some 15 records. All the 15 records. Binary data. That's it. Let us see one record, guys. /101. Single record. Are you clear? You got a single record, right? Now we have what is coming. Everything comes in JSON format. What is coming? Everything comes in JSON format. What is coming? Today we have only 4 attributes: ID, name, photo, status. But tomorrow that can return you 20, 30 attribute values now. Yes or not? Okay. What we do, we need to define a model class now. We need to define a model class. Am I correct? Where is it? What happened? Went to the bottom. Okay. Okay. Just how do we create the model? Tomorrow 30, 40 attributes will be there now. All the values what are coming. Today 4 only are taken, but tomorrow that can be returning you 30 to 40 attribute values. How do you define the model class? Watch it. Copy the result here. You have a copy option here. Copy it. Come to your MVC project. Your MVC project. Okay. Just go for adding a class where in the models folder, add a class. I'm not giving any name, just add a class. Okay. Now go to file menu, edit menu, and here you'll have an option called as paste special. Paste special JSON as class. Your class is ready. See the beauty of Visual Studio. Tomorrow 30 attributes, 40 attributes, 100 attributes you have. No matter. Copy that. Use this option. Your classes are ready. This is how we work in the real time. Did you understand my point? Okay. So what is that? The airline company, what I showed you on the Saturday, has given you a lot of APIs now. What to do? Open Postman. Run it. You'll get some result now. Copy the result. Go to your studio. Use the paste special option. It'll define the class. Change the name of the class, guys. Change the name of the class. What happens? Just simply change the name of the class. I got it. Are you getting me? Yes or not? Okay. So that's what. Now they said that you don't require to deal with a status. Status will have a default value. Only for deleting only you need a status. So what they say is the status means the end user is telling status I don't want to see now. Delete it now. No problem. Why? Anyhow, the status has the default value. Status has the default value, and not only default value. Just look at the API. In the API, are you clear? The person who given the API is clearly mentioned in the documentation. What is that? You don't require to deal with status. Ignore the status. This is only for our internal purpose. You don't require to deal with the status. So these three attributes are enough for me now. Are you clearer or not? Now this class should be defined by you manually. But how are you creating this class manually? We are not writing all the things, or we don't have NT framework or link to SQL. What we done is we copied the JSON code and used here. When you copied the JSON code and used here, automatically the appropriate classes are generated. Is it clear, everyone? Okay. So that is what happens to you in this context. The JSON is going to get me the appropriate data and defines the class. My class is ready. You can use this as your model class now. Now come back to here. We did not import the model namespace, huh? Yeah, we did not import the model namespace using consumer dot models. When I import, now see, there is no error at student. All students are just not throwing you any error. Is that clear? Are you understood? So that's what. So first step. What is the first step? See guys, the first step is we created a table. Second step, we went to Web API service and there we added a new table. Update model. Okay. And then we created one API controller and written all this code. And this is all done in one project. This is over. Third step. What is that? Consuming the Web API service now. The next step is consuming the Web API service. Where you want to consume from? MVC application. Using last class using jQuery code. And today, C# code. To test consuming the above Web API service from an MVC project, create a new ASP web application model, naming it as Web API consumer or MVC or whatever you want. You select it, no issues. Next, to call Web API from an MVC application using C# code, we need to first install a NuGet package. What is the NuGet package? Web API client. What is that? Web API client. You're required to install this now. You're required to install it. Come on, let us install. Tools menu. What is that, guys? Microsoft dot ASP.NET dot Web API dot client. The first one, Microsoft dot ASP dot Web API dot client. Okay. Install that package. Why? The required classes to call the API are present here now. The required classes to call the API are present here. Okay. Okay. Next step. What is the next step? You're required to define the model class now. I manually written up the model class, but I said you a simple technique how to generate the model class to you. So going forward in the real time, use that option. Always here, 3 attributes only, not a problem. But imagine if the result is going to have some 30 to 40 attribute values. 30 to 40. Writing all these things will be a lot of time, and using the correct data types also will be a confusion. So that's why use the option what I shown you in the edit menu. Paste special, not paste, paste special. Under that, JSON as classes, JSON result as classes. It will automatically generate you the required class. But by default, the class name will be shown as root object. I changed the name as student. Watch here. This is, sorry guys, student. Okay now, and see ID name photo. ID name photo. This is a problem now. See, we need to make some modifications. By default, it'll come. You need to make some modifications. Photo is not a string. Photo is a byte array. Byte array. Okay. I need to change this to byte. That's it. Without confusion. The option is available. I've shown you, but without confusion, I given the code for you manually in the notes now. Define the class like this. Okay. My file name is wrong here. Okay. Student is the class what we created. Next step is you're required to create a controller now. You're required to define a controller. And when you're calling, guys, you're required to write the URL. Yesterday, remember URL. We are giving the URL explicit now also. In every method, you're required to write the URL now. Got it? But suddenly if the URL changes, again, modifying the C# code will become complicated. So better put the URL in the config file so that editing becomes easier tomorrow and read the URL into your application. So let me open the web.config and the URL. What is the URL? Already we discussed. HTTP localhost web API service API student is the URL. So under the app settings, I am just adding the web API URL. Guys, watch. Sir, you did not write a student here. I did not write. Reason, we are calling student tomorrow. If I want to call customer, we need to change it now. I put up to API only. Inside my code, I'll tell student, customer, tester, I'll tell there. Did you catch my point? All are in the same URL only. So for all of them up to here, it is same. What will change? /student will call you student API. /customer will call you customer API. /test will call you test API. So we'll specify that inside the code. So leave it. Okay. Up to here only I'm just writing. So we will read this. What is the tag name I given you? Key name? Web API URL. Now add a controller. And in the controller, you're required to write all the logic for calling the API. For calling the API, you need to write the logic now. We imported the model namespace anyhow. Okay. And then we're just going to write up the remaining things here. One thing is we need system.configuration to read the config file value, right? To read the value from the config file, we require the config value now. Yeah. Whatever I'm importing, I'm just separating them. Already we imported this one and now system.configuration. Okay. Next, apart from that, guys, we are going to call this now. We are going to call this. And to call this, we are going to make an asynchronous calling. And to do that, we are going to use task parallelism, multi-threading, task parallelism. We learned all this particular thing. Multi-threading is the old. Advanced version is task parallelism. We learned about the task parallelism in our code. And we are just going to use what? Task parallel libraries in the code. So for that, I'm also importing system.threading.tasks. System.threading.tasks. Okay. And one more thing for folder directory existing and directory creation and all, we need system.io. This is old only. What newly we imported? Threading.task here. You know IO, you know configuration and models also we know. So newly if I did anything means that is only system.threading.task. One more thing also we just required. What's it to call the API? We now downloaded, we just installed one NuGet now. What is that? Microsoft.ASP.NET. Web API .client, web API .client. Okay. And that for that also we have a separate namespace, system.net.http. System.net.http. Okay. When we are working with the class, I'll tell you in which namespace, which class is there. You already know models, customer class. Remaining all we'll learn in detail. Hold on. Okay. Come on. We'll start with display customer. We start with display customer. What to do? Call the API and consume the code now. Call the API and consume the data. Have a look, guys, how to call. First, to call this, you're required to create the instance of one class called as HTTP client. HTTP client. Client is equals to new HTTP client. You're required to create the instance of this class. This class is actually responsible in calling the API. If at all you want to call any API, you should take the help of that class now, HTTP client. For this, you're required to pass a parameter, guys. You're required to pass a parameter. What are the parameters, sir? The parameter what you're required to pass is the URL. What you're required to pass is the URL. You're just required to pass the URL now. Are you getting me? How to pass? Client dot base address is equals to new. And here you're required to pass that URL information. Here you're required to pass the URL. So guys, here I'm writing string URL is equals to configuration manager dot app settings dot get. Get what, man? What is the key name? Do you remember? Web API URL. Okay, now? And now here, what I'm passing? I'm passing the URL here. Are you clear? Or you want to give some name like base address? Any name, guys, no props. Use it here. But this doesn't contain the name up to API only present. Plus student. I'm concatenating now. See now, base address contains up to API. For that, I'm concatenating. It will form the full URL now. Understood, huh? Okay. So what you require to do? First step is you need to read the connection string. Sorry. You need to read the API URL. Second step, HTTP client. And now you need to pass some information to it. What is that? Base address. What is the base address? Is equals to new URI. Base address plus student. Okay, something. What name I given here? I given a service URL, guys. Anything, no problem. Na? Service URL. Service URL. Names doesn't matter there. Just. Okay, now. Fine. What next? The next step is you're required to call the method. You just required to call the method. How to call? Client dot, which method you want to call? Get or post or what you want to call? Get method. You want to call the get method, right? Dot get async. The method name is get async. Are you clear? Get async. And this get async method is going to call you the things now. It is going to call you the thing here. Oh, sorry. Here it takes a parameter, guys. What the parameter is? The request URL. So actually here you're required to specify the controller name, API controller name here. I'm sorry, I said you wrong. And here don't specify it. For this, what you require is up to API only. For this, you require up to API. This method requires the actual controller name. So both these two are combined together and uses it behind the screen. So tomorrow you want to call customer. So just change to, he'll call you customer now. You want to call test, just change to, he'll call you test now. Whatever you want to call, you can just call it. Okay. What do you want to call now? Student. Get async student. This is going to call you now. This is going to call you. The get async method. And the return type of this particular message, the return type of this method is, all of you guys, what is the return type of the method? See? We are writing a response message only. Yes or not? Okay. So I can capture it like this. How? Where? Okay. Get response. Get response is equals to. The result will come into the response. The result will come into the response. Okay. Client dot get async. Same way we have a method called post async, put async, delete async. Get async. The name is telling you get. Sir, what is async? It's an asynchronous method, guys. It is a asynchronous method. It is going to be an asynchronous method. Okay. This is an asynchronous call. It's going to make a asynchronous call here. Now. Okay. Just you're calling a get method. It is going to be a get response. You're going to get a response here. I'll call it a get task. Any name, no props. I'm trying to match the names I used in the notes. That's all. Names are your choice. Names are your choice. Now you're just going to call it client.getAsync. You're going to call the get method and the result will come now in the form of a task. The result will come now in the form of a task. And do you remember this, guys? What? In the task parallelism classes, I taught you how to call value returning methods, non-value returning methods. If at all you want to call a value returning method, suppose a method returns an integer, you're required to say task of integer. If the method returns a string, you're required to call it as task of string. If it is a double, task of double. So like this, we just require to call the appropriate things. Okay, we'll call it, guys, get task dot wait. What is wait? Remember, waiting until the code is completed. Before you call the result, you're required to call wait. Wait until the task is finished. Until the task is finished. Get task dot wait. After the wait, you can capture the result. How to capture the result? Get task dot result. Get task dot result will give you the result. Okay. And guys, see this. The result. What is the return type? No. HTTP response message. You called this on the task. What is get task? Okay. Just a minute. Without confusion, I'll write it not where I'm using correctly. Task of HTTP response message. See now, what is the return type of get async? Put your mouse here, it will tell you everything. The return type of get async is, if the return type is integer, what do you see? Task of int. If the return type is string, what do we see? Task of string. But the return type is HTTP response message. So what do we see? Task of HTTP response message. It is going to return you a task of HTTP response message. Okay. Now get task is which type? Task of HTTP response message. Now on that only you're calling the result. When you call result, guys, look, when you call result, what you'll get back? Task of integer. You'll get back the integer now. So same way you're getting this also. What is that? HTTP response message. So HTTP response message, some get response is equals to. And now guys, this message contains all the data. This contains the actual data. It is going to contain the actual data, what you just need here, get response. Okay. So observe it, the code. What is the first line? You are required to set the base address. Second, one time you understand the code enough here, for all the remaining same code only. For all the remaining same code only. What will change, Post async, put async, delete async. Return type. Then call wait. Wait until the action is completed. Once the action is completed, then it is going to get the result. HTTP response message is equals to result. You are going to get the message now. Okay. And inside of that message, you have all the result here. How to pick it? Okay. Some name I given here, or the name I used in the code is message. Message dot content. Message dot content dot read as async. Read the appropriate data. Read the data. How do you want to get the data? Actually, the return type is object, man. The return type is object. See, you want to get it as object or student? Louder. Wrong answer. List of student, not student. Your get students, get student. Then what do you want? Student, list of student. That is what you're required to tell here. In which type you want to get it? How? List of student. Okay, read as sync. Read as async dot result. Content dot. I'm sorry. Content dot read as async dot result. Now your output is coming back in the form of a students. And now pass this students to the view. So what is the difference is earlier also the last line is same, guys. But how did you get the data? From database you got it. How did you get it? From database you just got it. So there we used to call dc.students and get the data. But now you're not getting from a database. You're sending the request to the API. If at all you want to send a request to the API, the first thing is you're required to create the instance of the, then you're required to provide the base address. Okay. Second, you're required to choose the method you want to call client dot get async. Which one? Student. And what it returns you? It returns you task of HTTP response. Now call what? Wait. You're required to call the wait method. After wait, when you call result, it will return the result to you. Okay. Just a minute, all of you. To be clear, I'm writing a small method. Public int get length. Public int get length. And here I'm just passing int some x. Okay. For each, I'm writing a for loop. For int I is equals to 1. I less than or equal to x, I plus plus. Here I'm writing string str is equals to empty string. And here str plus equals to I. Remember I explained about this method earlier. Otherwise, let's not pass any parameter here. Directly we'll give a value. What? The loop runs from 1 to 1 lakh and concatenates all the numbers to you now. 1, 2, 3, not adding, concatenating. So what will be the result? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like this, it will concatenate. Finally, we want to find the length of the string now. We want to find the length of this particular string. Remember, somewhere around 4 lakhs or something we get them. Okay. So what you do? Return. I explained you this code already for you in your task parallelism. If you forget, I cannot help you. Okay. We already discussed about it. Next, I want to call it now. How do you call? Static void main. Suppose I will write this method also as a, how do you call by using a task, guys? Task of int. Task of int. Task is equals to new task of int. And here you're required to specify the method name. Are you clear? Afterwards, task dot start. Next, task dot wait. You're required to call start method. You're required to call the wait method. Now, task dot result. What is the result, guys? Integer. How do you capture? Int x is equals to. Int x is equals to. First, understand what is this, guys? Task of same now. Observe here. We have a method called getAsync. What is the type of it? Just like task of integer. Now what do you have? Task of HTTP response message. Afterwards, we are calling wait. Sir, you did not call start. Yes, I did not call start. Why? Because I did not create a task manually. Who is creating that? GetAsync method will create. That is why it will only call start also. And remember, I explained you this one without calling start. I said you another process. What? Task dot factory dot start new. Task dot factory dot start new and pass your method name here. What is that? Get length. So this one I don't require to call start now. Now same process, guys. What is that? Just like we have start new here, we have getAsync. What start new returns? Task of integer here. That's all. Afterwards, wait. Yeah, I'm to calling wait now. Afterwards, result. Result is which type? Task of int. Result is integer. Correct? Now here. Result is HTTP response message. Got it now? That is what? The result is HTTP response message. Inside the HTTP response message, lot of data will be there. Lot of data. Means the service URL, lot of information. I don't want all the appropriate things. I want to refer to the content. I will debug and show you. I want to refer to the content, and under that content, I want to read that value as a list. Okay. Put a breakpoint, guys, just to understand. Put a breakpoint. Now add a view for this. We'll design the view. Just a minute. Add a view. We'll go with empty. What is the model class? Student. Okay, leave it. We'll create. We will design this. But run, guys. Run this. See what happens. Then you'll have a doubt. Sir, why you're converting it again? Because you're asking, it means it won't get you only that information. It will get you a lot of other things also there. Lot of other things also will be coming for you. That's why put a breakpoint there. Let's debug the code. Yeah. First, you're creating a URL. Okay. Next, you're calling wait. Wait, that is created. Get task is created. Wait. The wait will wait for the response now. And once the response means once the execution is completed, result will capture the response. Watch. This is the result. But the result, if you put your mouse here and watch the output here, you will not see only a lot of things will be present here. Status code 200, response phrase okay, version 1.1, content, lot of information you will see here now. Did you understand or not? You are not getting only the result. You are not getting only the result. It has contains lot of other information. We should see that, guys. Just a second. View, headers, content. You see that it contains the content length. A lot of information will be coming here. So don't think like only you will get a list of students now. Don't think like you will get only a list of students. It'll send you back a lot of other information also. Why I'm not able to see completely content. In this content headers, results view. Encoding. Okay. It's not showing the complete data, but you can see the length of this message. If you see the content here, 3,57,000. Why that much data? We have a lot of binary data in the table now. We have a lot of binary data in the table. All that information is coming now. All that information is coming. So understand this message, the response message, what you see here, doesn't contain only that information. It contains a lot of other things also. Are you getting my point or not? You have a lot of other things also inside of it. Because it has a lot of other things, we need to call this method again. What method? Read as async and get me the data in the form of this. Means exact data will be in the result. This result will contain the exact information, and that result should be converted into a list of student. That result should be converted into a list of student. Okay, so this is going to convert and give you the student's data. Once you do that, now see, you will see the student records in a perfect way. But earlier when I put my message on the student, sorry, when we put my mouse on the message, is it showing me like that? No, but see now, you got all the 15 students data now. See there, 101, 102, 103, and the binary data. What is the size of the binary data also? It shows to you all that. Okay, so everyone will have the confusion is, sir, we got the response now. Can't we use the response directly? We cannot use, because response contains lot of other information in it. Even you see the postman here. You see the postman here. The response is showing. You see the postman. It is showing you the response data here. Yes or not? But it has a lot of other information also, guys. If you see, all this data is also coming from there. 200 OK. How much time taken. All this data will come there. But I don't want all this data. What I want is only the content. The content. Content contains the actual information there. It sends you all this data also. All this data will come. What data? Content type, JSON format. Okay, version of the ASP you're using, the date, the content length. Am I clear what I'm telling you? Headers. It will bring you headers. It will bring you body. It will bring no test. Any cookies are there? It will bring you cookies. I don't have any cookies now. So two things it contains. Body also. So we need to separate them. We need to separate. How to separate? Message dot content dot read as async. That will separate you the body and gives you the body. And now that is passed to the view now. That is what we should pass to the view. We did not design the view. Let us just design the appropriate view. What is the error? Okay, we'll design the view, guys. Just hold on. We'll just go for designing the view and use it. Web API consumer. Models dot student. Now, I wanted to call a single customer. We will work out with this and finally we'll create a view. I want to call a single student. Now also copy the same code, paste it here. Okay, watch guys. Here, for the student, you're required to pass the ID as a parameter, right? Slash plus ID. Are you clear? So you're putting the URL /ID there now. What next? You want to read it as a list of a student or student? Student. Read as async student and come here and change here also. What? So if you want to call a get method or if you want to call a post method, sorry, single record or multiple records, the coding style will be same. Here, what will get you? It will get you one student. Okay. So put a breakpoint here. Add a view. Empty. Shows your model class. Come on, run this. Oh, we did not pass the ID. Get student /101. Watch. Again, the whole process repeats. And now, one student. Same code, but there we are using list, but here we are using single student. That is going to get you multiple, and this is going to get you single result. We did not design this guide. That's why we did not get it. Now get students into dictionaries of type, generic list. Oh, no. Actually, here we did not write I enumerable. That is why we got the error. I enumerable. Yeah, let us create this views, man. This view creation code is same. Nothing to learn newly here. How did we create the views earlier? Now also it is the same process. Run and watch. Oh, let's create the second view also. How many records are there in the table? 15 records. So it has to get me all the 15 records now. Check. Add new student, view, edit, delete. We'll click on the view. Just ID name, that's all. Is it not be done earlier? Understand, man, I don't have any new code for the views. I have new code for action methods. Action method names are same. View names are same. View code is also same. The only difference is in the action method earlier, you written code for getting the data from a database, either using ADO.NET or link to SQL or NT framework. But today you have written the code for calling a API. API is giving the data to you. Database is not giving the data. Now you understood you perfectly. Client is calling the MVC application. MVC is calling the API. API is contacting the database. From the database, data comes to API first. API will send the data to MVC. MVC will display output to the user, to the client. Understood the process? Okay. So what is that? First, client interacting with MVC app, interacting with Web API app. And this is going to get the data from. So now when I call the action method in MVC app, it is calling the API. And that is which is fetching the data. But earlier we did not do it like this. What did you do earlier? Until the last week, direct database. And to interact with database, we used three options. ADO.NET we used, linked SQL we used, NT framework we used. But now we did not write any database code here. You noticed it? The MVC application doesn't contain any database coding anywhere. So guys, your MVC application doesn't contain any database coding. It's only a API call code. Okay now? I don't want this data. Just to give you an idea, I just put the data. The table is empty. We'll freshly perform our insert, update, deletes now. Come on. Add student. Add view. Empty. Student model. Add. Now create a view for adding a student. How? Form tag. All the fields, and also to select the photograph. To select the photograph, you just require to put up this and also. What is it? Encryption type. Which method? Controller. Post. Encryption type. What do you have? Text box for entering a ID. Text box for entering a name. Then we have a file for selecting the photograph. For selecting our photograph. What is the name? And we already used the same name in our code. And two buttons. The two buttons. Okay. When you enter the data and click on the save button, the data first comes to, but what is missing? Image is missing. For image, you require to write the code now. What code? If selected file not equal to null, binary reader BR is equals to new binary reader selected file dot, and that value should be assigned to photo now. That value should be assigned to photo. Sir, uploads folder, why do I need? I'm not saving the photograph. I'm saving the data directly in the database only. Earlier, what I shown, we uploaded all the files in our current project in a uploads folder. I'm not doing that now. What I'm doing? I'm sending the whole image to the database, converting into binary. That's where folder creation code, all the things I skipped off now. Straight away, check it out. What is the selected file having a value? Now create a binary reader called read bytes and convert this into binary format. Okay, now tell me, student has all the three values. Answer me, student has all the three values now. Okay, all the three values are present. What next? Look, man. Again, base address. Okay, what you want to call? Post async. Post async. Guys, all of you observe the post async method. The post async method. Oh, insert. Okay, post async. What I'm asking? Student. Error coming. Error is coming. Why? It has one more parameter. What is the second parameter? The second parameter is, what do you want to send? Array, what do you want to send now? I want to send student. I want to send the student. Type of small s. Oh, sorry. Yeah, small s. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. Student. So we are calling. That is a method. I'm sorry. I written wrong. Post as JSON async. I want to post the data as a JSON data. I want to post the data as a JSON data. Post as JSON async is the method. Okay. First parameter is this one. Second parameter is the student. Or there declared. Declared, nah? Oh, it is again declared here. 2 times declaration happened. That's it. Okay. Just watch. Post as, understand previous one method name is get async. Are you clear? But here post as JSON async. We have post async also. What is the difference, sir? I don't have any input. I don't have any input. Then post async. No, I have input. Then post as JSON async. Did you understand the difference? 2 methods are there. One is post async. What is post async? No input, guys. I don't want to pass any input now. Then it is post async. Otherwise, post as JSON async. This data will automatically convert into JSON format. It will convert into JSON format. Guys, I will change the name of it as post task. Again, post as dot wait. Post as dot result. Post as dot result. Okay. Up to here clear? What result will you get, man? What result will you get? Post result you got. What result will you get? Go and check it out. What result will you get? This is the result what you get now. See the return type here. It's not a student or list of students. What is the return type? That is the HTTP response message. And here also we are capturing as HTTP response message only. See now. And what you do? Message dot is. Did you understand that? Simple English, man. Message dot success code means anything in the 200 series is success code. 200, 201, anything. All these are success codes only. If the message is a success code, what to do? Redirect to action. Redirect to action. No, I did not receive a success code. Then what you got? I got a failure code. I got a failure code. If at all you get a failure code, you need to launch the same view back again. Else return view and pass student to it. Return view and pass your student. But return view is giving an error because how to fix it? Action result. Take an action result, your problem is solved. See now, it is success. Display. Failure. Same old view with the student model. It will come for you. Okay. Putting a breakpoint, guys. Running the display students. Right now, no data. I deleted all the data in the table. Empty. Click on add new student. Enter. 101. Some name. Scott. And now I'll go for choose file. D drive. Images. Selecting one image. Click on save. Guys, observe. The student model has only 2 values in it. Photo is null. So is a photo selected? Yes, selected. Why? It's not null. It is selected. See. Now this condition is true. This condition is true. Coming inside. Creating a binary reader instance. Now after that, it is calling the read bytes and assigning the photograph. See there. All 3 values. ID, name, photo, all three values. Okay. Now again, you're calling this and you're calling post as JSON async. This is like our serialize method we called yesterday. Do you remember yesterday we called serialize and I said it will convert into JSON format. This is also a built-in method which is going to convert the data into JSON format. It's going to convert the student into JSON and now it is going to call this and now you get a result. You get a result. All of you see now the message. You're going to get this. And here, status code you're checking. Is success status code? Yes, true. Why? Any status code in 200 series is going to be 2XX series is a success code only. And what you got? So how did we get 201? Array, you only written the code to return that, man. You only written the code to return that. See, you written the code clearly. What is it? Return created. Created means 201. For update and delete, you won't get 201. What will you get? 200. Why? You written OK. Because you written OK, what you get is 200. There you written created. So what you're getting? 20. But anything in 200 series is going to be success code. It is success. Then you're calling display student. When you call display student, it will reload your data. You can see that. You got it. Okay. So I repeat, guys. First line. I already explained you about this. For everything, this is common address. Now you need to call the appropriate method. We called getAsync in the first two cases. Now I'm calling post as JSON async. We have post async method also. We need to use that method when there is no input, but we have input now. So that's why we should call the method called post as JSON async. And this is going to pass this particular object as a JSON. It will serialize, convert into JSON and send you. And what you require to call? Wait. And then you will get the message. You will get the message. And the message will contain the status code data. And if it is a success code, this one. Otherwise, this one. What about next? Edit. Come on, tell me about edit. What to do first in edit? In edit, you require to first call get and afterwards you should call put. In edit, we should call get call. Yes or not? In update, you should call put call. Put JSON as async. Put JSON as async. But here we should have get call. Okay, get call already we saw in the top now. Get call. The same get call should be present here in this context now. Okay. So for edit, guys, have a look. Check the code once. Look at the first line. Yeah, that is same. Second line, that is also same. Third one is same. 4. Result. Single student. See this. Student.photo is not equal to null. We can use a temp data also. Na? I'm using a session. Temp data session is your choice. Afterwards, return the view. Why did we store here? In update, if no image is selected, I need to pass the old image back to the server now. So that's why we're storing it in the session. If student.photo is not equal to null, it will come here now. What about update? Guys, for update here, copy the same code. What did you write in add? Change this to action result. Okay. Again, this code is same only. Another condition, else if session of photo not equals to null. What to do? Student dot photo is equals to session of photo. So first it will check, is a new photo selected? If a new photo is selected, it will send that. Otherwise, old photo. It will send you the old photo. Okay, base address is same. Change this here. What? Put as JSON async. Put as JSON async. Again, not required, just to make it a little bit. Put to task. Next, messages, success. Otherwise, this one. Okay. So let us have a breakpoint here. Let us have a breakpoint here. Both the two places. Edit as well as update. Oh, we did not create the view. Huh? Oh, okay. Edit, add view, empty. Add, edit. Okay. Display students first. We'll add some few more records, man. 102 Smith. Choose file. Save. Choose file. Save. Okay, guys. I have some multiple records. Whenever you click on the view, you will see the appropriate record. Now click on. See now. It's a get request. You know this get request already. You're getting a single student now. Does it have a photograph? Yes. So it's not null. Not null. Because it is not null, coming inside and storing this in the session. All of you carefully watch it. What is the size of this byte array? 7310. Old one. This is an old image. Okay. Displaying here. I just got the data now. Can I change? Yes or not? I want to change. Choose file. I'm selecting a different image. Click on save. Now tell me, did you select a file or not? And now comes inside and it is going to override the file. Do you remember the old file size? Check it out. It's a new image now. It's a new image now. Coming inside and now calling you put. And what's the status code now? True. Why? Okay. 201 created. 200. Okay. You got the new image now? You got the new image here. Are you clear? Suppose in the edit process, I'm editing another record. Now this is 103 what I selected, guys. 103. What is the size of the photo? 8669. Remember that one. Okay. Loaded. And I want to edit. I just want to edit. And what I want to do is I just wanted to change the name. That's all. I just want to change the name. That's all. Just a name is what I just wanted to change. Okay. So I'm just writing some name here. Ria. And now I'll say save. What is the old image size? Okay. Did you select a new image? Goes to LSPAT now. See there. The old image is back. That's why we written the if and else part. We done it already earlier. The same thing only. But earlier I used a temp data and here I used a session. Temp data you'll use a session, you'll use your choice. Clear? It's updated. What next? Delete should delete the record. Delete should delete the record. No need any view for delete na? We'll go with copy, paste here. Actually for delete, I created two views, I think. Yes, I created. Nothing, guys. First, I created two action methods. In the first action method, I displayed the view. Second action method, I deleted. Are you clear? So here also, just a second. Two methods I'm going to write. One is view result, delete. What you do? You're going to call the get method and you're going to get the student. You're going to get the student. Okay, this will display you. And now add a view for this now. Delete, add view. Empty, student. What I want to do is very simple, guys. Just I want to display the data and I want to ask the user, what? Are you sure of deleting the record? That's all. Are you sure of deleting the record? And I'm not even displaying the data to you there. Just only it opens a view and ask me, what is it? No, not this, not this. I'm sorry, not this. Oh, I did not create a view. I did not create a view. I created a view for displaying the error message. That's all. Displaying the error message. I'll tell you just a second. I did not show you this earlier. This is a new style. I've written the code here. Just a minute. First, let us focus on the delete code. Let's focus on the delete code here. How to delete. Watchman. Again, client.base address. Client.base address. Oh, why I pasted this here? What is the name, guys? Service URL. Next, what? Delete async. Are you clear? Student/id. Next, delete as dot result. Next, success status code. Where to redirect? So change this to, guys, if it is a failure, what do you do? We don't have a view. For adding a record, we have a view. For editing a record, we have a view. For deleting, we don't have a view. Yes or not? That is why I created a separate view for, I created a separate view here for a delete. Oh, it went off somewhere else. There is no view here. That's why I just created a view just to display the information. What information? Delete action resulted in an error. The failure, else part. I'm showing you this message. What message? Delete action resulted in an error. So when will this view come? This view will come only if the delete action is not performed. If you could not perform the delete action, then only the view will come. Otherwise, it is not going to get you this particular view now. Okay. So right click, add view. There is no model binding, nothing here, guys. No model binding, nothing. Simply, what did I put? See, one H2 element failed. Delete student action resulted in an error. Back to display students. Why you're doing it like this means because if the action failed, how do I tell to user? If the action failed, how do I tell to user? To tell to the user, I've just been performing or created a separate view for it, and the view will tell the user this action failed. For example, okay, add a breakpoint here. Run again. Display students. How many records are there? With all the status codes as 1. Error. The copy paste error. Controller, display students. Delete. Asking you, are you sure of deleting? I clicked on OK. Now it came here and it was trying to delete the record. And what is the status code? Success. Why? OK. It is a success code. When it's success code, where is it going? After the failure, where to go then? For failure, it has to open you a view now. Which view? Return view. Return view means delete student. That is why I created you a delete student view displaying the user. Array, this operation got failed. This operation got failed. Okay, just to display that this operation got failed, I just created a view there. Delete it, see, and go into the database, verify. Status. Okay, all actions by API calls. So you're required to remember these methods here. So the main important class is HTTP client. The main important class is HTTP client. If you remember Saturday or Monday, when I talked about Web API and its advantages. Yeah, here we talked about Web API. Read the last point. HTTP client class is there. I said you, what is it? Web API framework includes new HTTP client class to communicate with Web API server. HTTP client can be used in ASP.NET MVC apps, Windows Forms apps, console apps, or other apps. And using this, we can call the API now. And that is the class what I'm using. This class requires some information. What information? The base address. The base address. Nothing but the URL. And then you have the appropriate methods here. What methods? Get async. Get async. Post as JSON async. Put as JSON async. Delete async. Are you clear? Sir, you'll have a doubt here. Sir, get async also requires data na? Yes or not? Here ID you're passing. Delete also requires ID. Then why the method name is not JSON async? You're not passing a JSON here. You're passing as a route parameter. Here ID you're passing a JSON. How you pass the ID? Route /ID. That is not JSON. You're passing ID, name, all these things. Then JSON. Then JSON comes into picture. But here no need JSON. That is why we don't have any separate method as get JSON async. It is only get async. Okay. And then we have post as JSON async. Put. How many methods? Tell me. Tell me the list of all the methods. First one, get async. Post as JSON async. Put as JSON async. Delete. One more. You have it here now. Read async. Read as async. We have this method also. Read as async. Okay. These are the methods what you just required to remember. Okay. See, if you understand correctly how to write the logic in one method, it is the same coding only we done for the rest also. Only thing is the method names called different. And second difference is how you're going to get the result? Here we are going to get the result as a result as a list. So I should call read as async. For update and all, this line is not there. For insert, update, delete, we don't have this line. Directly, response message is telling you success or failure. But here, we need to just call the content and then only we need to read the values here. See, for get only, I called these two, content.read async. I did not call in the case of insert. See, sorry, this is insert. I did not call in the case of insert. Directly result is coming up here. And I did not call it in the case of update also. And I did not call it in the case of the delete also. The read async method should be used only for get. Only for the get display, not for other things. And guys, with this, we have just been completely completed with our ASP.NET MVC 5. We are done with ASP.NET MVC 5. Actually, the ASP.NET means MVC class means up to here over. But now we have the new thing now. What is it? Core. Coming to core, guys, I just want to tell you ASP.NET Core. Just now we learned ASP.NET. Now the next topic is ASP.NET Core. And here we are going to develop our application by using core. Till now you build your application using framework. Correct? And now you will be building the application by using core. The architecture of a core is a little bit complex. 3 to 4 days, I will only explain you the architecture only. But once you complete the architecture and go to programming, same MVC only, no difference. Same controllers, same views, same action methods, same models, all are same. Got my point? Okay, we have some advanced features. We'll look at this. I said your architecture only will be a little bit critical. They completely changed the architecture to make it lightweight. So that it performs well. So that we need to understand the architecture perfectly. 3 to 4 days, I will only talk on the architecture of the ASP.NET Core. Are you clear? Later, once we go to programming, same regular code only. Nothing will be new. Okay, now let's stop here. We'll meet tomorrow.
Recording